Looking for magic cards? At flipsidegaming.com you can now use the promo code LVD to get a 10% discount on orders over $10 while supporting the channel at the same time. Hello and welcome to another Magic Arena gameplay video. Today we're taking a look at a Monoblack Aggro list featuring a lot of 1-drops, some spectacle cards, and just a lot of aggression in general. So starting out with the 1-drops, we've got the full 4 copies of Darren Gravghoul, 2/2 enters the battlefield tapped. We've got the full 4 copies of Gutterbones, 2/1 that enters the battlefield tapped, but for 2 mana we can return Gutterbones from our graveyard to our hand if our opponent lost life this turn. And then we also have the full 4 copies of Vicious Conquistador as a 1 mana 1/2 that when it attacks makes the opponent lose 1 life, so also a great spectacle enabler even if there's a board stall. And then we also have some cheap removal in the form of Deadweight to take out some smaller creatures or shrink down larger creatures permanently. Then at 2 mana we've got the full 4 copies of Wanted Scoundrel, not an amazing card, but we just need another nice aggressive 2-drop that can deal a lot of damage, and Scoundrels as a 2 mana 4/3 definitely fits the bill, but the Scoundrels does come with a pretty big drawback in that if it dies, the opponent gets 2 treasure tokens which can ramp them and help them deploy their hand faster. And then we also have the full 4 copies of Graveyard Marshal as a 2 mana 3/2, and for 3 mana we've got a nice little mana sink here. We can exile a creature card from our graveyard to make a 2/2 zombie token that enters the battlefield tapped. And then we've got some more removal in the form of Cast Down that can destroy a non-legendary creature at instant speed, and Walk the Plank that can destroy target non-merfolk creature at sorcery speed, so it can help us deal with those legendary creatures that could otherwise be an issue and that Cast Down cannot answer. And then topping off our curve, we've got 2 copies of a Ruin Raider, which is a 3/2 with a raid that says at the beginning of our end step, if we attacked with a creature this turn, we can reveal the top card of our library and put that card into our hand, and we lose life equal to that card's converted mana cost. But as you can see, we've got a lot of lands that have converted mana cost 0 that don't cost us anything, and a lot of 1-drops that we can hit with Ruin Raider. So in general, it's not going to cost us too much life, but does provide a steady stream of card advantage. And then we've got a full playset of Spawn of Mayhem, which we can often spectacle for just 3 mana, giving us a 4/4 flyer with Trample that says at the beginning of our upkeep, Spawn of Mayhem deals 1 damage to each player. And then if we have 10 or less life, we can put a +1/+1 counter on Spawn of Mayhem as well, which definitely comes in handy at closing out a game. And finally we have the full 4 copies of Drillbit, giving us some added disruption, maybe helping us take a sweeper effect from the opponent's hand, so we don't have to deal with it. And with the spectacle cost of just a single black, we can often double spell it on turn 2 alongside another 1-drop, so we can keep up the pressure while disrupting the opponent. So this goes kind of in the 1-drop slot. And then 22 basic swamps, pretty straightforward mana base. We don't want any tap lands like Memorial to Folly since we're often curving out, and we don't want any Cabal Strongholds since we need all those black mana symbols to let us double spell 1-drops or play Graveyard Marshal on turn 2, so there's no real room for Cabal Stronghold in this list. Could potentially cut down on the number of lands a little bit, maybe go even as low as 20 lands, but I'm just playing it safe here with 22. So that's the deck. Now let's jump into some games and see how the deck does. Hand looks good. Let's lead with Gutterbones, I think. Could play Wanted Scoundrels, but if they play like a Crawl Harpooner, I wouldn't want to attack into it anyway. Alright, opponent's staying back, and looks like we're gonna get our Spawn of Mayhem in. So I doubt a trade for the Gutterbones, so I don't think we need to send Conquistador quite yet. But if they double trade, then we would be unable to play Spawn. Alright, so we had our good start here. Triple 1-drop into Spawn of Mayhem. Let's see if they find an answer for it. Well, I guess not. This sounds a little awkward, a bit heavy on the interaction, a bit low on the pressure. But we do have Conquistador to enable Drillbit, so we might go Conquistador into Deadweight plus Drillbit. So we'll try.
Opponent on the Rakdos. It's not what we wanted to see here. Although Gutter Bones is a good pickup. Daredevil. We can kill in multiple ways. I guess Deadweight plus Drill Bit is the play here. It's less mana efficient than Cast Down, but I'm guessing Cast Down is going to be more relevant later. Although, if they play like a Judith, Deadweight can kill it, whereas Cast Down cannot. What other creatures can we expect them to play? Maybe like a Rekindling Phoenix? I guess it's a pretty close decision here. Yeah, I think I'll Cast Down. So then next turn we can maybe go Ruin Raider plus Deadweight. Alright, well, not exactly what I was expecting. I guess we'll take the Daredevil, and then we can kill Ruin Raider, play our own, and then hopefully they never get to 6 mana. Our decision to use Cast Down last turn did pay off. Well, let's hope they don't go land, or sweeper, land. Oof, alright. Could have been worse, I guess. So I'm guessing we take Rakdos. Alright. Spawn of Mayhem was a good one. Funny that it wouldn't have died to Rakdos, but Bells Unlock loses them life regardless. So yeah, they were kinda dead unless they drew a sweeper. Maybe we want additional Ruin Raiders. It did seem pretty strong in that particular game. But Ruin Raider is the type of card that we need to be able to back up with enough removal to keep being able to attack. So there's a delicate balance between pressure, removal, and Ruin Raider. Hand looks good. Nice 1-2-3 curve, potentially. Alright, mono white. It's definitely an annoying blocker. So hopefully we can connect so we can play spawn next turn. So now they can chum block Marshall and then block Ghoul with the Sentry, and we wouldn't be able to play spawn, but then we can still go 1+2, so I don't really mind it. And if they want to double block Marshall, that's fine by me. They could double block the Ghoul with Falcon and Witness, and only lose Falcon. Alright, they're going for that double block, works for me. Huh, they didn't block the Ghoul, it's interesting. Either way. Let's play Spawn of Mayhem. Yeah, let's just add some more creatures to the board here. Don't really feel inclined to attack with the Ghoul, but they didn't block with the Sentry last turn, so maybe they don't block this turn. Keep Walk the Plank to maybe kill a Banalish Marshal. If they convoke a Loxodon, we can kill it and probably kill them. If they don't play any additional creatures, then we might just kill a Night token, we'll see. No Merfolk in the mono white deck that we need to worry about. Maybe they're holding a Conclave Tribunal, although I expect we would have seen it last turn if they had it. Although, who knows, maybe they just wanted to play history instead. Alright, so we'll take it. We can walk the plank Marshal. So they can double block with the Knight and a Soldier, that's fine by me. I mean, I guess we could send Gutterbones and Ghoul. They can only block one of them with the Snubhorn, and if they want to block Gutterbones with a 1/1 Soldier token, then they don't have a great double block on the Scoundrels. And I don't think we'll need to stay back on blocking duty. So let's send. Do have to be mindful of our opponent playing another Banalish Marshal, or like, who knows, Pride of Conquerors, some people still play. Unbreakable Formation, giving everything +1/+1. So we don't want to die on a Crackback, but at 15 we should be relatively safe. And we're forcing them to make some blocks. Alright. Let's see if Spawn of Mayhem can go the distance. Vanguard's gonna pad their life total a little bit. We did give them 2 treasures for the City's Blessing by making the Scoundrels die, so that's something to keep in mind too. It looks like a Tribunal or a Loxodon. It's probably happening. Yeah, we did trade for 2 tokens, so that essentially kept the permanent count the same. But just for like future reference. Yeah, Spawn of Mayhem is gonna grow, so it's just lethal by itself now. The math with Spawn of Mayhem can get pretty tricky from the other side too. Gotta be careful not to deal too much damage so the spawn doesn't grow. Alright, no interactions this time around. And we're on the draw, so that's not a great mix. But we do have a reasonable curve, so I'm tempted to keep, and then hopefully we pick up some removal spells to maybe clear a path. Gonna lead with Conquistador. Alright, do we have a Wizard's Lightning? We don't. Kazan was a good draw. Yeah. Let's play Marshal. Opponent could go Chain Whirler and then Firebrand to finish off Graveyard Marshal. That's fine. We'll see whether or not we want to attack with Conquistador just to set up Spawn of Mayhem, which is pretty important here. Alright, shock the Marshal. And Lavarunner attacks, since they can finish off Conquistador with Firebrand. Don't really want to lose Conquistador since we need it as an enabler for Spawn, so I'll take it. Alright, that's a bummer. So change of plans. We can either play Ruin Raider or Gutterbones plus Cast Down. We're still at 18, so we have a relatively healthy life total, although that can quickly change. Opponent stuck on 2 lands, so they could be holding Experimental Frenzy, Chain Warlords for all we know. Maybe even light up the stage, although I don't think so, from the way they've played. I mean, we can just hardcast Spawn of Mayhem next turn as well. If we play Gutterbones and have a Chain Warlord, that's kind of sad. I think we play Ruin Raider. And probably just gonna take damage from Lavarunner, but at least we have a blocker for Firebrand. Alright, so this kind of implies that they maybe have another Firebrand or land Chain Whirler. But I think I'm okay still trading for the Firebrand here. Maybe they have another Skewer the Critics, who knows. Land and Chain Whirler. Alright. That's fine. So I'll play Spawn of Mayhem first. This could get awkward if they have another burn spell, since first strike from Chain Whirler plus a burn spell can finish off Spawn. So there is some merit to using Cast Down on Chain Whirler first. But they're down to one card in hand. We could always decide to block the Lava Runner. So if they do have a burn spell, it's still a 2-for-1 in our favor, and then Cast Down cleans up Chain Whirler, and then we're both top decking. Don't know if that's a spot where we want to find ourselves in, but taking 5 is also kind of sketch. So I think I block Lava Runner here. Steamkin, that's fine. Alright, wow. Spawn survives, that's excellent here. So we can play Gutter Bones, cast down the Chain Whirler, and I think the Spawn is fine to attack. Do want to start applying pressure ourselves here. Another Chain Whirler, it's too bad. Alright, not the draws we were hoping for. So if we attack, then opponent goes to 9. We get hit for at least 5. If they find any red spell off the top, it's 6. We fall to 1 and Spawn kills us. So we might not be able to attack here. So yeah, let's just play a bunch of Gutter Bones for now. I don't love the fact that we're giving the red deck more time and Spawn is also taxing our own life total, but being dead to any red spell doesn't seem like a great plan. And I think we're forced to block Chain Whirler. They can just burn our face for 3, Steamkin grows, we go to 1 and Spawn kills us, so either way we're dead to a 3 damage burn spell. So yeah. Alright, down to 4. Graveyard Marshal was a good draw. So how aggressive can we get? The token does come into play tapped. So if we attack with everyone, play Marshal, we're dead to any removal spell on the Graveyard Marshal. If we leave back 2 blockers, we're still dead to a 3 damage burn spell to the face because of our own Spawn of Mayhem. So the only card we're really playing around by keeping 2 blockers back is Shock, I think. Because then it can shock the Marshal and attack for 3 with Steamkin, Spawn kills us. If they play Gitu Lava Runner, we can just block the Steamkin, take 2. So I think Shock is the only card that punishes us for not leaving back multiple blockers. That being said, does the clock really change if we attack with more than Spawn of Mayhem and a Gutter Bones? I don't think it does. So might as well leave back Gutter Bones and play around Shock. And we can do this at instant speed, so no reason to do it now. Alright, let's see for that. Chain Whirler doesn't do it. Alright, sweet, that was a very close game. Spawn of Mayhem carried us. Yeah, gotta play with fire when playing against the burn deck. Alright. Hand looks keepable. Another Pelt Collector deck. Let's play the Ghoul. I think the extra power is going to be more relevant than Conquistador here. Alright, Growth Chamber Guardian on 2. But now we're on the draw, so we're on the receiving end of the beatdown. So if they don't grow Pelt Collector, we've got a good block on it. Well, now we can block the Growth Chamber Guardian. But Harpooner lines up pretty well against Scoundrels, sadly. Do we still want to block? If we find a removal spell for the Coral Harpooner, then the Scoundrels can attack. So I don't think we do. I don't really want to ramp the green deck that's stuck on 2 mana. So I don't think Scoundrels getting in the red zone. If they attack with Harpooner, we can smash them back for a bunch. So I think the play is just going to be attack with Ghoul. And then play Scoundrels plus Conquistador. Alright, opponent finds a 3rd land, attacks with everyone. Now the Growth Chamber Guardian, of course, threatening to level up. How much damage are we potentially taking? If they pump it, we're taking 10. I imagine, I mean, if they had a Steel Leaf, they could have played it first, so the Pelt Collector grows, but then they can't threaten the Growth Chamber Guardian pump, so it might still be beneficial to them to attack first. So let's say they do play Steel Leaf Champion, then we don't necessarily have any great attacks. Opponent's got 8 power, 3 lands, so they can't quite play Galta. If we block the Growth Chamber Guardian, they're forced to pump it. They get 2 mana, so they could play something else. We attack them back for 8. I mean, maybe this is the play. Alright, we did draw Walk the Plank, which is pretty big here. Can also kill Galta for what it's worth. So what happens if we attack with everyone here? 7, 8. We shouldn't be dead on the way back, and I think we want to keep Walk the Plank for next turn. So yeah, let's smash. And then hopefully our opponent does play Galta. Is mostly tapped out, attacks us, doesn't kill us, and then Walk the Plank carries us. Next turn we can Plank plus Marshall. We'll see. Definitely a close game. This is definitely the matchup where we wouldn't mind drawing a few extra removal spells. Alright, Steel Leaf instead. Pelt Collector attacks, leaves back Harpooner. Alright, we'll need another removal spell off the top here to have a chance. What about a Spawn of Mayhem? Yeah, we might have to pump the brakes, but now if they have a Galta, we're kinda wrecked here. I guess we can Walk the Plank, Steel Leaf, attack with Ghoul. They likely just take it, and then we play Spawn of Mayhem on the cheap. Maybe it is correct to Suicide Conquistador, because if they don't cooperate, then we don't get to play Spawn, and we really have to. Alright, let's see if they have the Galta here. And Walk the Plank is definitely our best answer to Galta, since Cast Down doesn't do it. Alright, looks like they don't have it, otherwise they would have probably played it beforehand. Coral Harpooner can block Spawn of Mayhem, since it does have reach. So how do we actually go about winning this game? That's unclear. Opponent's got 4 cards in hand, they're all spells since they've been missing land drops. So it could be more champions, Nullhide Ferox. Who knows what else. It's pretty clear that we have to win with this Spawn of Mayhem, so we can't really afford to block with it. So what if we trade Scoundrels, double block there, could also single block. So we can activate Marshall a bunch, but the tokens are going to be tapped, so it's unclear whether that really helps us. Yeah, we could double block. But the thing is, Marshall gives us a bit of advantage going late, but we're probably just taking lethal next turn anyway. So we'll have a 5/5 Spawn of Mayhem, opponent at 6. Doesn't quite cut it. Interesting. Well, that would have lined up very poorly if we had another removal spell, because then they would have just died to Spawn of Mayhem in 2 turns. So kind of an interesting play. Sadly, the card we drew was Deadweight, and not a Cast Down or Walk the Plank. So we can shrink down Harpooner down to a 4/3. But Spawn still doesn't present lethal, so the play is just Deadweight Harpooner and then stay back, because otherwise we're taking lethal ourselves. We're not dead yet, but there's a lot of things that kill us. Blanchwood Armor on the Llanowar Elves, for example. Yeah, if they just play ground creature here, then Spawn could get there. Opponent would fall to 5. Spawn would grow up to a 6/6. We would need to draw an answer for the Harpooner, I guess. Walk the Plank or Cast Down one time. Not quite. So yeah, if we attack, we force them to chump block with Harpooner. But they fall to 2, and then Pelt Collector grows, and we're taking lethal on the way back. So we are dead here, sadly, unless our opponent forgets that Harpooner has reach. But they don't. Well, the game was a lot closer than I thought. Definitely had outs to still win this one. Alright, what about this one? Seems okay. I need a 3rd land at some point. See if we can snag a Cry of the Carnarium here. Yep, there it is. Opponent looks to be Esper mid-range instead of pure control. Bellhaunt is going to be annoying, but I don't think we want to let them keep Cry, since that exiles all our Gutter Bones. They will have Absorb mana next turn, so playing Spawn might not be the best idea. Instead we'll probably just play Graveyard Marshal. Alright, that works. Now they're gonna mortify the Spawn of Mayhem if we play it. So would we rather have them mortify Mayhem or Marshal? Marshal gives us a nice string of threats, although Gutter Bones we can keep getting back anyway, so we don't really want to exile those. I think I'm still playing Marshal. And then we'll see whether or not they kill it here. Drill Bit was a good draw. Alright, so that gets mortified. So let's see what's up. Alright, negate we don't care about too much, although I guess it counters the Walk the Plank, but they're gonna tap out for Bellhaunt anyway. So it's unclear if we even care about any of these cards. I guess Bellhaunt's probably the most annoying right now, just because if we play Spawn, they make us discard the Walk the Plank, and then it blocks all our ground stuff, gains 3 life. So I think we take Bellhaunt, and then they have a bunch of useless counterspells in hand. We have a Gutter Bones we can easily sack to Eldest Reborn eventually. So we're hoping they don't top deck more removal spells, essentially. Because right now they don't have an answer to the Spawn. Kaya's a little annoying. So it's probably worth it to just get rid of Kaya while we can so it doesn't exile more Gutter Bones. Of course, Spawn playing pretty well with Gutter Bones as well. And I think we'll play out the land here. They can't play Bellhaunt next turn with the information we have. Alright, now we can keep lands in hand. Another moment. They might actually attempt to counter the Gutter Bones to try and set up Eldest Reborn, but we can just get it back once again and replay it. So it is important that we had access to 6 mana here. And should we play Conquistador? If they top deck like a Chaos Wrath, we're probably gonna regret it. They're dead to Spawn of Mayhem if they don't top deck anything. I think we just say go here. Alright, let's see if they can find their way out of this. Alright, sweet. So Drillbit showed up pretty big there, letting us strip away that Cry of the Carnarium early, so we could keep cycling those Gutter Bones back from the graveyard. Alright, so Monoblack Aggro seemed to perform pretty well. Don't think I have any immediate changes I would make. Maybe we could increase the number of Ruin Raiders slightly, although I'm not sure what I would take out for it. Like, maybe we can get away with fewer Conquistadors, but the more 1-drops we cut, the worse all our Spectacle cards become, and also the worse the Ruin Raider becomes. Scoundrels doesn't look pretty when it dies, but I think it's necessary just to have another impactful 2-drop that can apply a lot of pressure by itself. I think I like the mix of removal. Having a 1-mana removal spell against the red decks and the mono-white decks can be pretty key. Can't always have 2-mana removal spells. And then the mix of Cast Down and Walk the Plank, I think lines up pretty well. So we have some answers to legendary creatures like Lara Dawnbringer, Galta as well. And of course Drillbit helps there as well, letting us strip away those key cards before they hit the table. So yeah, pretty happy with the current configuration. And I think 22 lands is still reasonable just because we really want to hit our 3rd land drop by turn 3. If we don't play Spawn on 3, then why are we even playing this deck? Of course, the hand smoothing algorithm maybe lets us cheat a little bit on mana and we could get away with 20. It's definitely a consideration, like looking at the mono-white lists that also have a lot of key 3-drops. They tend to usually just play 20 lands. And we have some mana sinks in the deck between Gutter Bones, Graveyard Marshal, and then sometimes we need to play Spawn of Mayhem for 4 mana if we don't have a Spectacle enabler. So it feels a little sketchy to go too low on lands, but yeah, maybe like 21, 20 lands is still doable without compromising the deck too much. But for now, I want to thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day.
I also want to thank all my patrons for being part of the channel, and you can become a patron yourself today and decide the topic of future videos over at patreon.com/LegenVD.